Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Simon and we are the Whales of Wall Street. We're going through Verasity in this video, the VRA on the exchange. Before we go into the chart, let's just have a look at a couple of top line elements around NFTs and esports in general, a particular topic of interest to me personally. As I mentioned in previous video, from my real world experience in work and everything, I've had a lot of experience in esports and esports partnerships. So I understand the fundamental value of this market and why Veracity would be so interested in this area. But we covered most of that in the intro videos of Veracity. Go check those out. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. But this is quite a nice little article from the 2nd of November, a few days ago. Thank you to Tech Times for this information, David Thompson. So it's just very much underlying, just bringing to light some really key information statistics here. So Veracity, that I don't know, I'm going to give you literally two top line aspects of Veracity that I'm really interested in. So you've got the proof of view mechanism, which is basically helping a lot of projects through like streaming video platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and all of these kind of things, especially in the gaming environment, to really emphasize that the validation of views. And why is that important? Because a lot of companies are missing out on a hell of a lot of potential ad revenue because of bots, fake views, and all these kind of things. And there's a multitude of reasons why people or companies would try and cheat the system to obviously gain more earn and viewership records, and thus sort of fraudulating the system basically. So there's that aspect of the proof view, and then most recently the patent going through for the NFT aspect of essentially validating or verifying the legitimacy of an NFT purchase. So to basically encourage people that when they're buying a reused or pre-owned as NFT, as it were, that you're definitely validated to prove that it's real, that it's genuine, it's not fraudulent or anything like this, and it helps both the buyer and the seller. And that's one of the mechanisms that Veracity has in place for that. And why is that a big market as well? We'll go into that in a second, but a couple top line things here. So around NFTs, guys, I couldn't believe this. So $13.2 million valuation of NFTs last October, okay? Remember earlier this year, and I remember everyone saying NFTs was just a bubble, it's going to disappear, blah, blah. And I was like, you are talking absolute nonsense. If you don't know what an NFT is, that's not a problem. A lot of people are still new to the market and terminology and things. So that's non-fungible token. It's basically anything really that doesn't have like a ratio value. So like if I gave you $1, you get $1, and that's essentially a fungible token. But a non-fungible token is something that has a perceived value of different variables. So it could be a house, it could be an NFT collectible, which will obviously improve or increase in price because of its rarity or its commodity value and all of this kind of thing. And NFTs is growing in the sense of the virtual market for a number of reasons. Obviously, we've seen like the metaverse application recently, but NFTs don't just mean pieces of art and collectibles. It can literally be a majority of things that can be essentially transitioned as an asset across blockchain or virtual capacity into the real world, arguably potentially as well, not just interlaced within a gaming platform or collectible items, virtual showrooms, and all this stuff. So look at that. From 13.2 million in October 2020 to 2.13 billion in October 2021. That's 16,000% growth in market value. So you see why Veracity is after this market. It's absolutely gigantic. This is going to just keep on increasing over the years. I can assure you. I know a multitude of projects, people who work within these industries, of the things that they are working on, and I can assure you that we've only just got started, and this is absolutely incredible. So there's that big aspect of the market, and then you've got like the actual like esports market, where you're talking about multi-millions of people watching, people playing games. There was a video recently I was watching, it's like 3 million people watching it simultaneously. I was like, this is crazy. And you can imagine like the Veracity's play to earn or play to view kind of thing, and all of this kind of stuff. How much money could literally be thrown into this? And we're looking here, for example, some other like really cool statistics around the gaming perspective of the market itself. You've got things like 2020, the $1 billion market valuation of esports market worldwide. 2025 it will be nearly 3 billion. I think that's massively undervalued. I think they're way underestimating that. but it shows you the market that is available to the likes of Verasity, especially in the viewership aspect of gaming. And here was interesting as well. 63% of gamers said they would spend more on virtual goods if they had real world value. Now that's fine. So that improves the aspect that it's really important to have the valuation and the validity of the NFT, but also perhaps used goods. Okay, so for me, I sometimes spend money in like CEX and stuff and get like old retro games, and that's fine because I know what I'm getting. I see the physical aspect. I've played them when I was a kid. I get it. But if it's like a virtual item and you're sort of like, in this like cyber security mechanism world where you don't maybe have the mass trust that you do with something that you can physically have in your hand, the usability aspect or the reusability aspect becomes really important. And look at this, the industry reports have valued the market for the second-hand trading of virtual goods is about $50 billion. $50 billion, guys. That is incredible. And look, this is one example. One of the digital artists Beeple, so the Crossroads video clip, sold initially for $67,000 and was resold for 6.6 million on Nifty. Okay, so if you're buying that, right, and you're spending that much money, you would want to know probably 1000% in your mind that it's trustworthy, it's reliable, and that's what Verasity is here to do, to fix that problem of potential fraudulent activity, counterfeiting, all of this stuff that no one wants in the world, on the virtual scale. And I think it's absolutely incredible. It's very unique, and that's why I believe fully in Verasity and what they're available to do. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And there was a message recently from their marketing person, Mariam, I think it is. She was mentioning like people are getting on their backs because like they're not announcing things like exchanges, and they say, you said this is early Q4 and this, that, and the other. It's like, guys, just calm down. Like, the price will be the price, the project will be the project. And I totally understand that a lot of people invest because they see the roadmaps and things like this, but you've got to understand from a business perspective, there are many other variables. For example, NDAs. There are certain things that companies cannot say, and we reiterated this in the XTC video recently, because people are like, there's no information, there's none of this. Well, there isn't any information because XTC's Infin's, a B2B powerhouse. It's not here for us peasants in the charts. And I'm not saying Verasity is the same, because Verasity, yes, is very community based, and I do believe, in my opinion, one of the top projects out there that is very community driven and engaging with the community. I think it's absolutely fantastic. They're very responsive, especially the founder. I think it's Mark, isn't it? He's very passionate. Gets very angry with things that are against his company, and I absolutely love that passion and dedication and enthusiasm. And we've just got to be patient, guys, sometimes. Like, the roadmap's there as an estimation or a guideline of a roadmap. Now, of course, they want to hit those points as much as they can, but sometimes it's just not possible. And they readjust roadmaps. So don't go fully fixated on things and then start getting in a tiz because it's not done at a certain time or a certain time perceived in your mind. Just know for a fact they're working on it. And I'm sure when news becomes out, if they kept just updating everyone every 5 seconds, it's not news. And everyone's like, well, we're waiting for the news. Well, if we keep showing up news, then it's not going to be news, is it? So it's just really a question of being patient. We know what Verasity is about. Like I said, go and check our intro video, go and check out other channels' videos on Veracity's introductions, and you'll see why. Make your own conclusion, your research. I've just picked out some really top line stuff, okay, in NFTs and marketplace and stuff. Esports, guys. We're talking about as well, like the viewership aspect of streaming and everything on these platforms. You think how many millions and billions of people watch YouTube and Twitch and stuff, on a daily basis, for the viewership aspect of anything and everything. Forget gaming for a second, just anything and everything. But then add esports onto that, which is one of the most fastest growing economies and marketplaces right now in the world. They got an absolute diamond ready and waiting with Verasity. Going into this chart, guys, obviously the price point, I still think it's massively undervalued. I think anything under 10 cents is an absolute steal for Verasity, both in the short term and long term. I'm still going with my 21 cent price prediction. Do shout out yours in the comments below. I did only add 2 so far to this chart. I've so little time, but I do promise that this weekend I will be adding price predictions from you guys that I've seen in previous video comments, as well as the ones in this video as well. And whoever's nearest at the end of the year will be getting a ledger. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's just a bit of fun. I'm a man of my words. The ledger will definitely be available, and yeah, I will definitely get around to getting as many price points as I can on here for sure. But yeah, that's just a bit of fun. But let's concentrate right now on the price, guys, and the movements on this chart. So what have we seen recently? Before we go into the price point, let's just have a look here at the movements of the sort of sell-in and sell-out values. So of course we've seen the volumes being quite negative recently, but more importantly on the histogram here from the MACD perspective, we're seeing essentially the outtake, if you like, on the MACD. So we switched over to more of a bearish move as of sort of the 3rd of November. I think it's been a long time coming. And we saw this massive jump up here throughout the month of October. We tried to push it down. It was a very nice resistance there and took us back up for another wave upwards. But I think now is the time where we had to reflect on this, get a bit of a correction done so we can find the new defined support price for Verasity and take this up to another level. Now, of course, at any moment, Verasity could release the information about new exchange orders. It would be very quick. I'm sure it would be top tier like everyone rumoured and suggests that it is. And that could switch it over within a day, of course. But for now, let's go on the assumption that this isn't happening in November, or maybe not even this year. Who knows? We just reflect on what we can see in front of our eyes right now. So the RSI is around 55, which is very much in the middle, limbo moment, I always call it. It's kind of the most annoying part because it's neither here nor there. We can only judge that the fact that it's been going down in the downwards movement, that it would maybe continue to do that into like maybe perhaps the 45 to 40 region, and that's when definitely I always tend to try and accumulate a bit more, shall we say. Now, I've done well with Verasity to take some out at the top here and reintroduce myself with that deposit. It's the first time I took some Verasity out and took advantage of the drop. I didn't do too much of it because I'm trying to be safe with this one and very much stake it in the bear markets or the winter markets coming. So we've had this beautiful move upwards. Like, let's just look at here, for example, 20th of July, not even 1 cent. And we've driven this up to 8.7 cents, I think it was. Let's just have a look. 8.74, I think, was the highest. So absolutely phenomenal in such a short space of time. And people say that it's not moving. I don't understand. Once you pull the charts out, you really see the true unbelievable movement of the project like this. We had the correction here. We've had the next take up. So I'm anticipating. I was really anticipating, actually. I've just drawn this orange line in here at this round about this 6.8 cent mark. Now, we did a good job yesterday potentially trying to attack that, and it didn't quite pull that off. Obviously, I'm not suggesting I want it to come down to here. I'd love to see Verasity just keep flying up and up, but yeah, this is opportunity, guys, because there's some people that are out there that are like, oh, I wish I got into Verasity. When's the next point? Well, I feel like these points are round about now, really. And I'm sure, it's not financial advice or whatever, obviously, but there's some key areas in this kind of bearish movement that we might be able to accumulate some. So if you have sold at the top and you're looking for points, I definitely think one around there is good if you haven't already attacked these areas that have been coming down recently. But it's going to be really interesting. So currently we're kind of trying to fight around this just over this 7 cent mark. So current trading price as of recording 7.3 cents. On the indicator with 5% or 5.5% down on the week, but very much, look at that, 16,400% on the year. That's incredible. The 3 months, the 1 month is extremely healthy as well. So yeah, it was definitely overdue a correction, and that's not a bad thing. I want to see health. I want to see health in the project, guys, and this is perfect because it's not parabolic. It's very much realistic. It's consistent. And you do want to see the healthy pullbacks as well to define the real price points of Verasity, and more importantly, the support mechanism. Because if you go on parabolic rises, you're just going to get parabolic shoots down, and everyone's going to get disappointed and frustrated. That's not what we want from all of this. So there's arguments to say, because if you look really back in history, if you look back at this point here, back in April, we see these top levels around sort of 5.6 cents. Okay, so if you look across the line, we haven't really had much touch point up until this October period. So I'm not suggesting it's going to come all the way back down here again to 5 cents. That is definitely possible, but we need to sort of evaluate this as it goes along. But I put, like I said, I put this like golden line in here because I do think that's an area of interest from historic information here, and just above the touch points of those kind of areas on the 11th of October. But then I would also be looking potentially around these kind of areas as well. So maybe around the 6.3 cents. And I think that's quite a good area to be looking at on the drop down if it does come down that lower. And then because of the sort of resistance levels we had here back in April and these very nice touch points along this kind of path here as well, that's the kind of areas I'll be looking at. Now, like I said, I'm not expecting them to definitely come down to this area, but just always anticipate the opportunity and potential of it. So if you do have USDT bags, it may always be worth holding out for those kind of things in case of, there could be like another Bitcoin leverage fail again, and we might see a major drop down again. If you look at this move here, for example, in one day, we've had a high of 8.7 cents and a low of 7 cents, or cent and a half. So if you take that principle, that does take us down to these areas quite quickly, even if it retraces in one day. So you just never know. So that in my opinion, I think we're very much trying to test this 7 cent mark properly. But we may see some wick downs lower to test these previous regions. As I've mentioned, why am I saying that? It's not because I don't believe in Verasity. It's just simply because of this fantastic move upwards. It's just not had enough, in my opinion. It's not enough confidence in this to suggest that these are definitive prices. Okay, if we get the roadmap, confirmations like new exchanges and all the projects and stuff and all the ones that come to fruition, then of course the valuation of Verasity moves up anyway. I'm not talking about the price itself. I'm talking about the actual valuation, the real price mechanism behind in the back end of Verasity moves up. I've said it for ages. I think Verasity is massively undervalued for its potential. We've got to bear in mind that a lot of the projects aren't in fruition yet. But I think in the long run, if it's continuing to do what it's promising to do or wanting to do, it's definitely massively undervalued right now. So let us know in the comments below what you think about that. I like to try and be realistic on this product. I know everyone wants to hear hype videos and like price points. We're just not about that here. I want us to be reflective on what we see in front of us and reflective on what's to come or potentially come, and also take opportunities on the way up as well as on the way down. So for me, I'm happily going to be putting some USDT limit orders down at these levels. Not saying they'll definitely come down here, but I'm just playing that game because I would absolutely love to get more Verasity at lower prices, for the future. If this run, if it gets to 20 cents, I'm going to be over the moon. And I'm sure many of you out there will be, especially some of the people from the price points they say that they got in. Absolutely incredible. But for me, Verasity is long term. I would very much like a massive bag to be staking with in that bear market or winter market, ready for the next runs in a few years' time. That is my game. You might have different games and strategies. Do your own research, do your own thought perspective on that. I'm just doing my opinions here on this video. So it's not financial advice, but it's just very much how I feel and perceive that it's coming. And you can see the movements here, bearish move. RSI is figuring itself out right now. So it's very much open-mindedness, in my opinion, right now. Some of you might not want to hear that. Some of you might be thinking, cool, that's nice and honest, fantastic, brilliant. Gives me something to think about. That's what this channel is about. This is what the market and the space should be about. It's opening the minds for everyone to realize that there's opportunities both up and down. It's not always about the parabolic runs. It's about opportunity and the potential gains from that moving forward. So guys, let us know in the comments below, one, your price point that you think it will be at the end of the year. Two, what do you think about Verasity right now? Are you worried? Are you still very bullish out there? Let us know. And also just let us know in general, like, have you used any of the VRA players? Are you using Verasity in any aspect in terms of earn to play, or play to earn or play to view and this kind of stuff? Let us know, and we will be very much interested in that and pull out some of those comments in the next video as well. But we'll wrap that up there, guys. I've got tons to get through, but I thought in particular, because I know there's loads of Verasity fans out there, I thought I'd pull out a bit of information first with a bit of chart info there. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.